It looks like we've made it to Friday, December the 30th, as it is, 2022. My name is Jay Cleveland Payne, and I am glad to be a part of the show today. Glad to be with you for today's episode as we do our final episode of the year, literally final episode of 2022, rolling into 2023. We at Things You Might Have Heard like to believe we are doing their best to bring you yesterday's latest in information, politics, and current events and pop culture. We also aim to be your go-to source for unconventional stories that mainstream media outlets might overlook while giving you just enough insight on some of the stories they may spend a little too much time on, so you get the whole thing. And we, as your news side piece, ask you to please stand by. We'll take good care of your news needs, while the national anchors may have missed a couple things here or there. So as the teaser graphic shows, we're going to talk about Andrew Tate. If you don't know who he is, then you are one of the lucky ones. He has overtaken the media in the last couple of months, doing this thing for a while. We'll get deeper into what he is and who he is and what he actually did to why we have to talk about him today. However, we have 7 other stories as well in the cast for today. So that were, of course, vetted by U.S. Conversational and then, of course, curated by me for the cast for this morning. So we'll explain how the vetting process happens. And once you get past the headlines, about the 10, 12-minute mark, you'll see how that works out. So stick around for that. But for more information about what we do totally here at the show or the podcast, if you're listening to this one, or basically at our main website, all the projects we have at The Conversation Project, what makes us a project, check us out at thisistheconversationproject.com. Let's get into the stories today. 8, vetted by you, curated by me. Starting off with the man of the hour, misogynist influencer Andrew Tate reportedly arrested in Romania for rape. Now, I don't always get a chance to edit the headlines. Usually I basically take it from the articles I do, because a lot of these things I'm posting from my phone and just posting into the feeds for you to react to. Andrew Tate got the top spot for all the responses for yesterday, as he probably should have. At the same time, he probably shouldn't have. If you've not heard of Andrew Tate, he is a influencer who's basically telling men that they need to be men, they need to be beefy, they need to be kind of angry and just sort of whatever. However, he's essentially pulling off the act of being kind of a jerk, and not exactly who you want to make your men emulate. But in the Instagram world we live in, he's got flashy cars, he looks good, he talks about what's going on, and he says things in a way that are reacting to kids, men and women who are a little lost, looking for some direction, and he's giving direction, although the bad direction. Sort of the thing that you learn, like I learned way back when I was working with kids in a weed and seed program in Alabama, about the fact that if a parent isn't showing somebody love, and a drug dealer comes up and shows them a little love, they will follow that drug dealer, to hell and back, which is why you have to make sure you intervene on those things. Now, what has happened? Well, he and his brother are accused of luring women to lavish villas using loverboy method. That is, they're still doing, that type of stuff. And then keeping them in a small studio where they're forced to work on porn as porn models, doing things like that. And of course, do the deeds in some cases. Police arrested 4 suspects upon relying on social media posts to figure out that they had returned to Romania, which was where they could pick them up. But what was weird about this was after the release, Tate posted a photo of him on Instagram smoking a cigar, saying, "Yeah, there's nothing wrong," in a fake interrogation room, like he was in control. This guy is a menace. You may think he's just sort of this internet dude, but you got to be careful what your kids are watching on the internet, because especially since they're younger and impressionable, and the whole thing about kids are brain damaged and not brains aren't developed till like 25 or so. This is the kind of things you got to keep out for. And that there's a theme going on today with men behaving badly, and unfortunately a lot of them are African American men. So here goes. Bill Cosby plans 2023 comedy tour after overturned sexual assault conviction. Bill Cosby plans to start touring again after next year, after his release from prison in 2021. His representative Andrew Wyatt confirmed to Fox News Digital. Early this year, Bill Cosby's five Cosby accusers actually sued him under a New York law that temporarily halted the statute of limitations for abuse allegations. We'll see how those go. But Cosby told folks that he respects people who have a clear viewpoint of what has happened in his life. to what happened to him, how he went through stuff. And so he's going to continue to just be Cosby going forward. Of course, found guilty on all accounts of the 2018 trial and said that he will be able to perform again now because he's out of jail. Everything is cleared. All his basically Senate stuff is done. He now is focusing on touring again. What the tours will turn into, we shall see. Are you going? We shall see. TJ Holmes files for divorce from Marilee Fiebig amid Amy Robach relationship. So this is now not so much men or women behaving badly. This is, grown adults doing grown adult stuff. Unfortunately, it got caught into a very public, very scandalous look that may not be as bad as we think it is, because it seems like both of these people, Holmes and Robach, were essentially estranged from their relationships as it went. They just, started dating each other, dating their coworkers, and doing it publicly, and making a big show about it before they actually ended any relationships. I believe Robach and Andrew Shue have filed for divorce already, and TJ Holmes officially files for divorce from his wife. However, he's rumored to have popped around a few other women in the time frame that he's been estranged. We shall see how this plays out. Right now, the biggest rumor parts for these guys is the fact that they've been pulled from GMC3 and now are shopping around themselves to other places to work, or we'll see how that plays out as well. Our next story, Nick Cannon welcomes baby number 12, daughter named Halo, with Alyssa Scott. Now, I actually had a conversation with people in my office confused on how many babies Nick Cannon actually had or how many women. The women number is still a bit fuzzy, but this is baby number 12. Now, it gets confusing with Alyssa Scott because this is the second baby that Nick Cannon and Scott have had together. The first one was Zen, a boy who died at 5 months after brain cancer. So this is their second child together, which makes the number a little odd, but that's not where we're focusing. This is child number 12, born December 14th. Her name is Halo. Alyssa Scott also gave a little bit of a love and an appreciation for the baby Zen in some Instagram posts as well. But a lot of people will throw this up as their topic for the day for quite a while in their radio post. Basically, is Nick Cannon an evil person with 12 kids? We've seen stories about Mariah Carey saying Nick needs to spend more time with her twins, and other things saying that Nick's saying he's spending a lot of time, a lot of money, and going around the world spending time with his kids. But should he put himself in this state? You want to chat about that? We can do that as well. Nickelodeon star Kel Mitchell back in court fighting his ex-wife months after being accused of owing $1 million in back child support. Now, this thing where Kel and his ex-wife, Tanisha, are going back and forth over child support, over support stuff, over what's going on. Kel Mitchell back in the spotlight lately after he showed up on Saturday Night Live for that Keenan and Kel reunion. Keke Palmer having a skit that put that together. So that's back and right. But Kel Mitchell has been doing stuff all this time. He's working. It's not like he's a deadbeat in a way if he's not getting work done. He's just apparently there's a dispute between him and his wife on this before going back. Other stories are basically taking this from another spin, getting the attention from the daughter, Kel's daughter, saying that she just wants her daddy around, and lots of sort of those type of things. This one right here hits base to the point that his ex-wife saying he's not paying his support, and she wants that taken care of immediately. Let's move on to the next story, which is Dominican court convicts 10 people in the shooting of Red Sox star David Ortiz. Ortiz, of course, was shot in the back at close range by a man who got on a motorcycle a couple of years ago. 2 men were sentenced to 30 years in prison with that one, and 8 others were received prison sentences between 5 and 20 years for helping the thing out. Private investigators hired by David Ortiz said a drug trafficker was jealous of him and targeted the slugger. Just, I don't like David Ortiz hanging out in the Dominican Republic, getting people paying attention. Let's kill him. Kind of pretty much simple like that. Investigators finding contradicted a previous theory by law enforcement because Dominican law enforcement is kind of shady. I said that, and I live in the U.S. I will never go to Dominican because, not that they're going to find this, but Dominican police officers are kind of shady. Pelé, who rose from Brazilian slum to become the world's greatest soccer player, dies at 82. I obviously did not write a headline like that, pull this from my phone, but this was breaking news that happened in the middle of the day. So not so breaking because Pelé had been fairly ill for quite some time, and we've seen some pictures here or there of him watching some World Cup in the last couple of weeks when Brazil was playing. Brazil, of course, did not make it to the top. Argentina got this win, but Pelé, who was essentially the ambassador to the world of soccer, passed away on yesterday. He is from Brazil. He had a chance to show that Brazil put Brazil on the map essentially, and played soccer in the '60s as a black Brazilian, as a person people could look up to and people can see. And essentially, all my life, everybody knows Pelé as a soccer, legend. Even in this generation, they hark back to the things done by Pelé back, 50 years ago. So we are now sad, and the world is basically saddened by this. But essentially, they're going to have a funeral at the stadium that he played in back in the day for everyone to come to. And in fact, the family allowed people, the regular people, to kind of come and join in near the hospital and join in the loss, join in the grieving of Pelé, who is a national figure, a worldwide figure, if you will. The world is mourning the loss of this person, Pelé. Southwest normal flight operations resume Friday. That is today. And from some news reports I have of people sitting outside the terminals at Southwest, everything is flowing well, and there are no big lines going on. Planes are actually taking off. Whatever happened with Southwest, a combination of the weather, which affected everyone, and then somehow their IT system just blew up. And for the next 3 days, as weather cleared, they had to deal with the fact that they were canceling 90% of the flights going out into the world and causing all sort of chaos. It became what it became. Southwest is going to have to pay a bunch of fines and do a bunch of changes and have a bunch of what's going on. And Pete Buttigieg is going to be the champion for fixing Southwest. Says he can't, he's not going to fix the programming of the IT system, but he's got to figure out why they were so bad and keep other ones from doing just as bad in the future. Southwest Airlines, which most people at this point hate, even though their symbol is love, LUV, on the stock market. A lot of people aren't so happy throwing around their love for Southwest lately and all the things shenanigans are doing. They're pretty much just like everybody else, except this time they screwed up a lot more than everybody else. We have a teaser story. This is a story that we may talk about in the next edition of our show, and that won't be until Monday. So on Monday, what will happen is we will give you 10 stories that Monday morning, and it's going to be pulled from the top 30 stories of over 90 stories that we'll post between today, tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday, New Year's Day, and the first 5 hours or so of Monday. So what we're going to see is stories that'll be scattered. It's going to be a hard time to get into folks into the fix. So we'll see if this one survives. I thought it was really extremely interesting. So we put it up here to tease for today, something that's posted about an hour ago, so you can engage with it. Twitter flames Time article for calling exercise racist. So goofy, I consider it satire. Your mileage may vary on that one, but what you can see from this is you can see the article. I read the full article myself. I see where they're coming from, but the whole point is it's a little bit much. Of course, Time has to fill its coffers with things to wrap up the year as well. So you can tell me if you think the racist exercise article by Time is worth chatting up come Monday morning. Do it by following us on our feeds where you can vote these things up. This is how you vet things to be going as conversational. On Facebook, we're at This is the Conversation Project. And on Twitter, we are th_conversation. Go to those sites, follow our feeds, check out what's going on, read the stories, engage with them by liking, loving, hating, whatever the platform allows you to do. The more engagement the story gets, the higher score comes up towards the end of the term. When it's morning time, day by day, it's day by day. Come Monday, it's Friday all the way through Monday morning. We'll see what stories are in the top 30 range, which means you vetted them as pretty darn conversational. We're going to vet those down to about 10 stories, to 10 stories exactly, to give you for your Monday morning, to get you started for your coffee chat, your chatty chat, all that chat stuff right there. Now, we take a break from talking about the show to talk about the sponsors, because we need sponsorship help to make sure the show keeps going well, going on. So step by our website and check on the link on sponsors, which is thisisconversationproject.com/sponsors for many more sponsors to take good care of you. Today, we're spotlighting Grammarly. Grammarly is the thing that keeps me going. I am a poor grammar person, not a bad writer, as in the way of I write pretty good stuff. I have good ideas, But grammar and spelling are my vein of existence for all my life and doing things. It's been pretty obvious in some of my online writing where things were rushed and things were put in there and, they just don't look right. Grammarly is something that I personally found many, many years ago and have been paying the price for it too, because the price of Grammarly is worth it. Check it out at thisistheconversationproject.com/Grammarly. This is an affiliate link, so we get a little bit of commission for you going to Grammarly. But if you're having issues with your writing, Grammarly may be an OG these days. You might find these little randomish AI type stuff, and I am using some of those as well to pull things out and test around as well. But Grammarly just works. It's not truly deep AI type stuff, but it just checks your things as a super powerful grammar checker. It will help you change the way you write things, help you change or rephrase things that seem kind of out of sorts. Basic spelling, basic grammar, figure out which there, and there works out, things like that. If you're bad with your grammar, Grammarly is what you need to get, because it also syncs up with pretty much everything you own. Syncs up with your office products, Word, Excel, all those things. Syncs up with your Outlook stuff. Syncs up with your beautifully your Google stuff, all the things you do in Google as well, and all the other websites. Anything that has a pop-up box that you can type into, it will spell check for you. It spell checks my stuff on Hootsuite when I post my things into the feeds. Grammarly is a tool that I cannot live without. When that bill hits every year and I look at it and say, wow, I'm paying a good chunk for this thing, I gladly say, wow, I'm glad this thing exists. I gladly pay for it. You can check it out for yourself. Various plans are available at thisistheconversationproject.com/Grammarly. Get your grammar right, start speaking much prettier, start writing much prettier, and get your conversations intact with Grammarly. Now, we're going to take a moment back to talking about us or me or this, and that is the Conversation Project. We want you to check out the Conversation Project and all the things that we have providing for you. We are providing for you at thisistheconversationproject.com. We have links to the feeds, of course, sponsors and partnerships to help keep things going. Those there as well. Also, the other projects that we do, the other performances we have a podcast called You're Welcome, where I go through some of the conversational things, some of the things that are a bit more hot topic, a little toxic hot potatoes, will, and I say the words that you want to say out loud in the audio, because that's what people kind of want to hear. There's also the weekly wrap up where we'll go through the top 10 stories of the week by pure data, what the numbers say. I won't curate them out anything. I'll tell you exactly what was top 10 stories of the week in that podcast. And of course, we have the conversations, which is going to be interview sessions, which we're going to start doing again. Somehow, some way, we're going to schedule in interviews to do that, because that was the fun thing about the conversation, finding out what people think about stuff. And yeah, lightning rounds are really dumb, but finding out what people think about the current events is a little bit different take on things. So we want to see how people in the world, and these are just generally interesting people I find interesting, people I am interested in, and friends who do interesting things. And it'll be a swath randomish of stuff and people. Some news people, some podcast people, some writers, some just general, just entertainers, and some just flat out people who are doing kind of cool things. We'll see who pops up over the year in the conversations. Whatever. All those are coming, all those there. Plus, find out all the ways you can find us via our newsletter, via our podcast, via all the ways you can see my face online at theconversationproject.com. Everything you need about us is right there. So to wrap things up, make things more fun at the end of the shows, we have today things, which are birthdays, day of celebration, and one more fact. Starting off with birthdays on December 29th, people who are making their way in the world today. Tiger Woods hitting 47 years old on the day. Tiger Woods having a lower profile since in having his car crash and hurting his back and having to be back into rehab and not be able to play on a Tiger level. He was already losing some of that from some just age catching up to him. But Tiger Woods being 47 on the day. We always celebrate Eliza Dushku. I don't know why. I don't even know what she's done lately. I did see a Love Actually over the holiday, so she was in that. She was, of course, in Buffy the Vampire Slayer and did a couple things. Eliza Dushku, just because she has that name, 42 years old on the day. And LeBron James, King James, 38 years old today, playing for now the Lakers in the United States, National Basketball Association. That's kind of obvious. But giving ups to LeBron James, 38 years old on the scene and playing ball for, I guess, 21 of those since he came out of high school at 17, 18, going straight to pros. One of the last players. Actually, he probably was not one of the last players in that sort of a thing. But right basically after LeBron and after Kobe and well after Kevin Garnett, who was before LeBron James, they realized that the players, not all players were built equally coming out of high school, and that has been sort of a thing. You can fight the balls on that one if you want to. But that is how it goes. Bacon Day. Today is Bacon Day. Now, today is Bacon Day, not International Bacon Day. That was in September, but you can still celebrate bacon domestically here on this 29th of December because you should. We all should. There will be bacon consumed in this house on many occasions, on many times, in many forms today because we love bacon. We have a lot of bacon. We've plenty of bacon literally in the refrigerator. We buy bacon by the bulk. Literally, there's bacon in this house all the time, and bacon will be eaten today. We celebrate bacon every day, but today we put extra emphasis on celebrating Bacon Day, if you will. Now, one more thing you might not have heard as we head out the door today onto our day. You may think your bathroom scales are the only way to weigh yourself. But in a medical breakthrough, scientists discovered internal bathroom scales already do the job for you. Swedish researchers uncovered evidence of a mechanism in the brain of mice that operates in the exact way. According to research from the University of Gothenburg, body weight is recorded by the brain whenever someone stands. If it notices an increase in weight, it triggers a signal that subconsciously tells the brain to stop eating so much food. Really? However, the internal scales don't work for those who sit for too long, such as office workers who spend hours sitting at their desk or TV binge watchers. So what the study is basically saying is, basically you stand up and your body will tell you that, hey, you're probably overdoing it, eating stuff. But if you're sedentary, if you sit down all day, that basically just wipes that whole thing out. You can stand. You don't stand up and say, "Oops, I weigh 187.3 pounds. I need to stop eating so I can get down to my goal weight." It doesn't quite work that way. But your body knows as you stand up that you've put on weight. You're putting on weight, and that things are not where they should be, and you should back off on things mentally. And then we screw it up by sitting on our butts all day. What can I say? I sit on my butt all day. I'm part of the problem. But the problem is a problem. The solution won't be found today on Friday, December 30th, 2022, because we're done. We're out of here. We are finished with this for the week and for the whole freaking year. I am Jay Cleveland Payne. If I did not say that part, thank you so much for joining me for this ride that is the Conversation Projects, things you might have heard. Thank you for joining us for the ride we've had from creating this August, September thing and going with it and its iterations and its things going on and its move and our move and the fake bookshelf and the real bookshelf and the green screen is actually still over here. Thank you so much for all that you have given us this year, feedback wise, donation wise, sponsorship wise, just eyeball wise. Thank you so much for what you've done. We're going to do a whole lot more coming in 2023. We've got plenty of things that are promised, plenty of things that we began that we're going to figure out and get some things kind of settled. We're going to do it. We're going to be there. And you're going to be there as well, because I'm actually wearing a shirt today. It's a little low so you can't see it, but stay hydrated, stay limber, stay on task, although it's out of order here on the shirt. The reason why we say that is because 2022 has been a kind of a difficult year for a lot of folks. And just in general, this statement came about because people who are doing difficult things. It's important to make sure that you know that there are things that you need to finish, things you must do, things you need to be here for. And that when those times, when things don't see so great, you will be reminded to stay hydrated. Because if you're dehydrated, it's hard to get any work done. Stay limber. If you're all stiff and aching muscles, it's hard to get any work done. Stay on task. Know exactly what it is you should be doing so don't get distracted, because you need to do those things. So from my office, my studio, my team to you, thank you so much for joining us for the ride at the beginning, the birth of things you might have heard as we continue into, we're not year two until August, but into the new year in general, some things going on. I think we did a good job today. I think we got some script work going on, got some camera work going on. I think we just need to work on my actual eyeballs. But other than that, give me comments, give me feedback, tell me what I can do to make it better, what I should stop doing that's making it worse, and of course, make sure you're following us on Facebook and Twitter. Facebook.com/This Is a Conversation Project and Twitter.com/th_conversation. Follow us in the feeds because that's the most important thing. We need partnerships. We need your sponsorship stuff, but we do need you, basically your eyeballs, to read the stories and give us the scripts and make this thing work out on the up and up. Until Monday, 2023 it will be. I will see you then.